I want to start by saying that what has given me the understanding and courage ultimately has been the practice of silence and the practice of listening while I'm meditating. And so there's no denying how much we can realize through that practice. But I wanted to say that I had a really trying childhood, and there was a pretty profound amount of trauma in my childhood, and it's taken me a long time to realize that and then to fully own that and be able to speak about it. I'm not going to go into detail about any trauma. I'm just going to leave it that there was trauma. Through the process of that, I have come to have a deep trusting that this was in my life for a reason, and even so much so that I can see the gratitude in it and how it has formed me into who I am today, or helped mold me into who I am today. But I want to say that there were many, many years where I sacrificed my own desires and needs in order to try and meet the needs of other people. I have understanding that for me personally, this was a path of trying to get love. And all along, the love that I actually needed to cultivate and accept was my very own love. Now, it's easy just to say, oh, you just need to love yourself, especially when you've had a pretty rocky human experience up to that point. So I want to share with you the ways that I began to practice and call in and open myself and my heart and my body and my mind to my own divinity and my own love, and ultimately to the truth of who we are and beyond this human experience. One way that I began to do this was I began to journal, and I would sit quietly in my meditation, and when I finished my meditation, I would journal, and I would start at the top of the page with a question: what does my soul want me to know? And I would allow that to just simply unfold. Then I would say, what does my soul need? What does it need from me? Sometimes I would ask, what does it need in order to be more of service toward the world? I might ask that. And so the hope was that I was moving from a place of the soul rather than a place of the ego and my personal desires. I would be honoring something beyond myself. The next thing that I would do is some self-study, watching, observing myself, and noticing the tendency to squelch the voices inside of me when I was forsaking or crossing my own needs or desires out in order to try to appease or please another being. When I would notice this, I would actually internally acknowledge it and then do my very best to choose what was in my best interest and what I was being told from an internal space. Sometimes, even present day, when I step up and courageously speak my truth or own my truth, there's still quite a few judgments, criticism, voices that appear, and it's up to me, and it's my choice whether I'm going to entertain those voices or what I do in this instance is acknowledge the voice, such as I'll have an internal dialogue and just say, I hear you, and I'm sending you my breath, and I'm choosing something different. And that something different to me is rooted in something beyond myself, something greater than myself. That's what that internal voice is rooted in. Now, it's taken years to cultivate this, and it's definitely a practice, and it's still a practice, a daily practice for me. But these things have helped me to begin to open myself up to loving myself. And lastly, I want to say that there is a dance in the universe of giving and receiving. And when I was always giving and giving and giving, then I was lacking and depleted in receiving. I did have some awareness through my own, again, self-study that the inability to receive, or the unwillingness to receive, was rooted in a belief that I was holding that I was unworthy. So I had to see through that illusion. And how did I come to see through that illusion? Well, I had to touch into a deeper place inside myself and have that experience. So there are other ways. We're all different. We're all engineered differently. We're all having very different experiences. And perhaps something that I've said to you will trigger or spark you to get curious or to see through that illusion, if you have it, that you are unworthy. And also knowing that when we learn to give and receive in a more balanced state, that literally a grace is given to us, and that grace affords us much more source energy than is even imaginable. And therefore we have the chance to give even more. But it has to be, in my humblest opinion, done in such a way that there is a balance between the two. One way that I try to hold myself accountable in giving to myself is by offering myself at least one day a week some kind of self-care, and that can just be do-it-yourself stuff. It can be a bath, it can be shopping at a store that you like. You don't even have to buy anything. It's just going and being with yourself and showing up with your own loving presence, and metaphorically or silently saying to yourself, I am worthy of my own love, I am worthy of my own time, and I am worthy of me showing up for me. This is a sacred process, and it is the path toward liberation and being an agent or a conduit of change and transformation to the world. I hope that something I've said finds all of us in a deeper state of peace and love and grace and forgiveness to the world. Thank you.